Hello and welcome to this awkward review thing by some guy on the internet. What happened is some people asked me to review some albums. I asked them to send me albums to review, and they did it. Absolute mad lads. Um, I'm gonna share my opinion on them. People are gonna be upset because I'm pretty sure they like them, and and that's it, pretty much. I have 10 albums on the screen, and today I'm going to review only 4 of them, since this is some albums that I have stronger opinions on, and I still need to listen to the other 5 of this, and there's like a bunch of recommendations by Finzi as well. He sent me in like 10 electronic albums, I think, and I really dig electronic music recently, so I'd have to absolutely must um, review them or at least listen to them. I'm gonna start off with Mars Red Sky by Mars Red Sky. This album is stoner rock album recorded in France, Bordeaux. It's a really good stoner album, I'd say. It has some interesting stuff. It's not really just a solid only stoner album. It has a lot of spacey introductions. It has some sad stuff. It has some acoustic guitars with some funky bass lines and high vocals that is not a standard for stoner rock, in my opinion at least. It has a lot of slow and heavy and spacey stuff. I really enjoyed it, and maybe a little sad towards the ending, and it left me sort of weird at the end, but it was it was fun, and then it was some space in between. I really enjoyed listening to it. I actually really listened to it at work, and it was a really good album to listen to at work. I completely forgot about everyone around me, and um, it took me to some different place. So I'd say it's a good album for all the stoner rock fans. I recommend it. Mm, Overall, I don't really have much else to say about it, and I'd give it a solid 8. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good, even though I'm not a big stoner rock fan. I'd say it's pretty good. Next up, we have Carpenter Brut, if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. Um, there's a lot of things you can do right in electronic music, in this kind of electronic music. Um, for me, it started off with, of course, with the Hotline Miami soundtrack, with some heavy and violent stuff, and I really loved it. I actually, at one point, I wanted to went to a gig, Perturbator, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce. You can, you can tell me how bad I am at pronouncing stuff, but I actually got upset by this album a little bit since I had it had some really good um it had a really good intro. Like the first song is starts off really strong, energetic, and it felt like it's gonna be like a really violent album. But after a couple of songs, I figured out it's not gonna be like this. Mm, it's more of a epic album. There's maybe some weak lyrics, um, maybe a little funk, but there's only like 2 songs that I really enjoyed. I think even one I liked even more than the other. It's Inferno Galore. It's just perfect, I think. It has the perfect tempo, it has the perfect synth, and it feels like it's gonna fit into like some Doom soundtrack, some Doom mod soundtrack. Um, but rest is maybe metalish, maybe epic, but some songs has even like weak sound levels. You can't really hear a guitar in there, and overall, it doesn't really feel that good as a production album. But it has a couple decent songs. So overall, if you're not a big fan of like violent stuff, maybe you like this one. But I'd not give it like a uh, big mark. I guess it's gonna be 6 for this one. And we're gonna move on to my favorite album of this review. It's Millpool. Haha, I'm fine though. It's gonna be a little awkward to fit this in. The the art isn't that great. Um, why is it such a good album? And why is it my favorite? And why am I like one of the few people that are interested in this? Um, this album was made by Cruxit, uh, the Swedish guy. I believe he did it all by himself, recorded everything. It's an emo album, sort of like a modern emo album, and it has a couple of really good songs, and they feel like if some other band made the same song with like same chords, same progression, same lyrics, it would be a hit. But it was made by Millpool, by Cruxit, and that's why it's just not popular. It has some really smart lyrics. It has maybe some ironic lyrics as well, and overall, um, I feel like the time he put into this album is a lot of time, and he put a lot of soul into it. I believe it's his first real album that he actually released, and I think that's pretty good. And I think I'd give it a 9. But um, some songs just didn't hit me, so I guess it's gonna be 8. But 8 or 9, I don't know. I don't know what's a 9, what's a 10 yet. So my marks might be off mark, off track, off everything. So it might be not that great. As you can see, I supported this album. I recommend listening to Pictures of Me at 14. Um, the chorus is pretty good. What's this fascination? His word choices are weird, but it fits perfectly. I swear. Totally not biased review. I recommend everyone to listen to this album who's into emo rock, who's into maybe some teenage rock or similar stuff, who want to feel like they're 16 again, or 18 maybe. It gave me a good feeling of that. And the last one of this small test review that I'm gonna do, is Shannon and the Clams, Sleep Talk. Oh boy, oh boy. There's a couple things that are wrong with this album, but there are 2 songs that are right about this album. I am a big fan of fast, energetic music myself, so when I started listening to this album, I was like, hey, that's a pretty good album. But was it released now or was it released back then, like 30 years ago? And I figured out after like 3 songs that this album was actually released recently. I believe 2011. Mm, yep, it was 2011. And most of the songs on this album are style old school-ish, I guess. They have this 80s style, and they try to be uh, really smooth and nice. But then in the middle of the album, there are 2 songs that just hit me really hard. Um, those 2 songs are "King of the Sea" and "Toxic Revenge." Only 2 songs on the album that are fast, energetic, and just hit you like a truck. Um, so yeah, this is a rock album. I never mentioned it before, and basically any songs go just like this. So it's slow paced and it's like really nice to you, and there are some. They made it really stylish, and the way they mix the sound is, I like it. I really like it. I really dig it. But the only like good song, 2 good songs are "King of the Sea" and "A Toxic Revenge," and it feels like old Ty Segall, I guess. The way they mixed is that it has drums on the left, I think. No, it's guitar on the left and drums. You have drums in both ears, and the vocals are in the right ear. That's something that uh, Ty Segall already did back in like a lot of years ago. You can hear the guitars in the right ear, and then guitar drums on the right, and then guitar on the left. So you have the guitars and drums are in the different channels, and it just hits you, and the music is really strong and powerful and fast, and exactly what I like to see. But overall, I was sort of disappointed they didn't record more of those songs. Um, but the style and those songs they actually made well. Um, I'd give it a 7, I guess, because overall it's a pretty good album. I'd give it to someone. I recommend it to someone, um, but mostly for those 2 songs. So I guess that is it. That is the test test review of some albums, and I'm gonna be too lazy to write all that down. So if you want to see text, just ask me. Ask me harder, I guess. And why are you still watching? It's over. Good. Bye.